anything like the rest of the apostles, and I began on a journey with Jesus that would take me into areas I've never experienced in my life. I don't know how you can articulate this, but Mark, you need to write this down. I walked on the water, and the only way I walked on the water was because Jesus called me out the boat. Mark, I don't know if you can get this down on paper good enough, but he healed my mother-in-law. Mark, you might not be able to write this, but I can recall when we went up on the Mount of Transfiguration, and I was standing there in amazement that when God showed up, Moses and Elijah also showed up, but God said, now it's time to hear Jesus. Mark, you need to write this down in your notes and tell the people that I was there when he calmed the sea and the waves. I don't know how you can get people to get it at 23:38 in 2014, but Mark, write it down. I've had the experience of walking hand in hand with God. But on Friday morning, they struck fear in all of us. They got together and captured our hope. Chapter 15 goes on to say they took our hope and placed them in front of a pseudo leader. Pontius Pilate didn't really run nothing. Amen, somebody. Amen. Well, he ain't run nothing. He was a puppet used by the government. As a matter of fact, he didn't even want to deal with the situation. Peter says, Mark, write this down. They took our hope. They placed him in front of a pseudo leader and tried to degrade him. Mark, write this down. They took our hope and they began to beat him and they began to scourge him. I need you to understand this struck fear in all of us. We didn't know what to do. We didn't know how to respond. I usually cut somebody about that kind of stuff. But when I cut the last person, he took the ear and put it back on, Mark. So I didn't know what to do. And usually Matthew would be right by me or John would help me. James would call down thunder. But when they grabbed our hope on Friday, it struck so much fear in us. We didn't know what to do. We just stood there and watched them take our hope from court to court on trumped-up charges. It struck fear. Y'all ain't helping me. But watch this. It's something to walk with Jesus. It's something to talk with Jesus. It's something to experience him. But you haven't had this kind of fear because Jesus has not been snatched from your very presence.